Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Bandwidth for iOS today is provided by CacheFly at CacheFly.com.
Coming up, the iPad Pro, yes or no?
Plus a game you have to have for your Apple TV.
All that and a sale on the Apple Watch.
On
iOS today.
Yay! iOS Today is brought to you by Automatic, the connected car company that improves your driving and integrates your car into your digital life. For more information, visit automatic.com/twit and use the offer code TWIT to get 20% off your purchase. And by lynda.com, the online learning platform with over 3,000 on-demand video courses to help you strengthen your business, technology, and creative skills. For a free 10-day trial, visit lynda.com/iOS today. That's LYNDA.com/iOS today. And by Wealthfront. Wealthfront is a low-cost automated investment service that is the most sophisticated way for you to invest your money. Whether you've got millions or you're just starting out, visit wealthfront.com/iOS today to sign up and get your free personalized investment portfolio. That's wealthfront.com/iOS today. Oh, thank you, Anthony. Hello, everybody. iOS Today is on the air.
I am Megan Maroney.
I am Leo Laporte. And yes, we have honkin' big iPads in front of us.
You ordered them in the middle of the night. You went to a store and bought them.
Yeah.
And you tried to get 3. They would only give you 2.
Two at a
So
time
sad.
when you order online.
And the Logitech Smart Create. The
Yeah.
Logitech Create keyboard and case.
So let me take the iPad Pro out of the case because you can't really tell how massive this thing is.
First of all, it's hard to get it in and out of that.
Yeah.
You feel like you're going to break it, don't you?
I'm not sure. Well, we'll get to that part. I don't even think they had Apple keyboards when we got there. But I feel like ordering this case was a better idea. A, because it's a case, right? And so unlike the Apple keyboard, it really protects the whole thing. Once you put it in the case, it's sealed in vinyl. But it also, I think, is a better keyboard than the Apple keyboard. It uses the magnetic plugs on the back of the iPad.
The smart connector, as they call it in the biz.
Yeah, Apple worked with Logitech for this. And it has features that the Apple keyboard doesn't have. It's backlit, for instance, which is great. Because it's getting its power from the iPad, you don't have to charge it. It's always ready to go. And it has special keys. Let me unlock my iPad Pro. It has a home key, so you can, if you open an application, you want to go back to the home button, you just press the home key.
And press it twice, and you can see all your apps that you have open.
Just like the regular home key.
Right, but then you have to reach your hand all the way up there. And,
Here's my favorite key. It's the search key.
My favorite too.
Yeah, so that's the thing that you get if you kind of scooch the screen halfway down, but it's really nice to have a search key right on there. You can also switch keyboards. I guess you have to be in the keyboard to do it, but it has the keyboard switch key. You can brighten
for emojis and such.
For emojis. Well, some people have multiple keyboards in there. Let me open Notes and we'll start a new note here. Should I upgrade it now or upgrade? I don't even know what I'm upgrading. All right, here's a new note. And it, by the way, is a much nicer keyboard, I think, than the Apple keyboard. It's a chiclet keyboard. It feels like a laptop. In fact, it feels a lot like the MacBook, for instance. So I'm really liking this keyboard. Now, once you have the keyboard up, pressing that key will change to emojis back and forth. Again, without removing your hands from the keyboard. I like that. Sound controls, play controls, and a lock button if you're about to get up and leave your iPad. Press the lock button. So these dedicated keys to me are I think, a nice feature. I'm a little disappointed, actually, that Apple didn't build them in to its keyboard. It's a better keyboard. It's backlit. It's got dedicated keys. It's a full-size case, and it's $20 less than the Apple keyboard. So it really wasn't much of a. It was a no-brainer, in my opinion, to buy this, to Create. But I'll tell you the negatives on it. It turns the iPad Pro to an even bigger, heavier device. Now this weighs more than my MacBook. It's thicker, it's wider, it's taller, it's in every respect bigger than my MacBook. So in a way, that's kind of echoes the problem I have in general with the iPad Pro, which is this thing should be is like a tea tray. It is ginormous. Now, we should mention that Apple did not have the pencils available at the time of order. I ordered 2, but they won't come to December 7th. That seems very odd to me.
I think that's odd too. I don't know why, but I mean, I still loved it. I still spent the weekend enjoying it without the pencil. You can use your finger. You can use other stylus.
I'm not an artist. It's not going to help me, but I just feel like if you're going to put the whole, it seems to me the whole point of the iPad Pro was it and the pencil together.
Right.
Certainly they made a lot of noise about that, but I guess something went wrong. I can't imagine this was the plan.
No.
I think something, I can only guess, something must have gone wrong in the production of the pencil, and they discovered it so late that they said, well, we'll just put out the Pro and ship the pencil a couple of weeks later.
Right.
We'll have ours in a couple of weeks,
Yeah.
December 7th.
So
you loved it, though.
I really loved it. The keyboard makes it. Without the keyboard, I don't know.
Oh, interesting, really?
Yeah, I mean, because just like you said, the backlit, the keys have it just worked for me, and I worked for it I worked on it for a long time.
And as you can see, once you put this thing in the Logitech Create case, it's not something you're going to pop out all the time.
No.
It's quite an ordeal getting
It is, and you
getting
feel
it
like
in
you're going
and
to
out.
break it a little bit.
Yeah. So I'm going to take mine out just so people can see it without the keyboard case. It's a little smaller than, obviously, a little lighter. The keyboard case is fairly heavy. But this is a big iPad. Well, what a surprise. It's 12.9 inches.
Right.
That thing is huge.
1.57 pounds, I think.
Yeah.
And yeah, that makes it a little bit heavier. My only complaint about the keyboard was there are all the keyboard shortcuts that you said. The shortcut that's missing is the slide over and the split screen. I would love a shortcut for that. So like there's the home, this shortcut.
I like the double tap home. I didn't know about that. That's really nice.
But yeah, I would love like a shortcut that, that did that for me. So
did you find yourself using the multi-window?
I did.
Okay.
But then the splits, you can't always do the wide.
Not everything will slide over.
Yeah, so not everything will slide over, and a lot of the stuff that I use. But can I just show how much I love this by showing a short video I made?
Please.
With iMovie.
And did you make it with your iPad Pro?
I made it with the iPad Pro and my iPhone a little bit. It's really just a movie trailer, but let's take a look
In a
at
world
how much it says more
where
than I
there
ever could.
is. Aw. There's a girl. Her name is Megan. Mm-hmm. But there's something missing in her life.
It really is.
A large iPad. Now she goes everywhere. A once-in-a-lifetime trip. Did you take it in a plane?
No, that is the simulator, the plane simulator. So I
Apple's
did a
gonna
lot.
hire you.
Really?
Holy cow. Unexpectedly. Whoa!
That's the Moment app, so you can see how long you're using the iPad.
Holy cow. I am
Greg
so
Burnett drew
impressed. There's even dancing.
There's dancing, there's all the things.
What?
Uh-oh.
How did that happen? Yikes.
And that's my love story. So really, that says it more than I could.
Wow.
That's an iMovie template. I really have no skills. All the professional editors here are just like, please do not quit your day job, Megan. That's what they're all saying.
I liked it. By the way, here's a regular iPad Air compared to the iPad Pro to give you some sense of scale. It's a lot bigger. But of course, the whole idea, I think, of the iPad Pro is, well, there's things you can do on a bigger iPad that you couldn't do on a littler iPad, right? Why do you like it so very much?
Okay, here's the thing. I would definitely buy this. If you decided you were going to let me go today, which I hope you don't, even after that movie, if you were going to fire me and take my MacBook and my giant iPhone and I had to fend for myself.
You would go out.
This
In other
is
words, you're
what
saying
I
even
would
if
buy.
it were your own money, you would buy this.
Yes, if it
and
were.
And not the little one, not the mini, not the Air, this.
No, because this I can work on, this I can watch movies on, this I can play with, this I can create and absorb content, I can read the news.
Is it what Tim Cook's saying is it's a replacement for a PC.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, I have a MacBook, and I find myself cheating and going back to the MacBook, and I'm just thinking, why am I? Like, it's not like I'm doing anything. There's nothing that I'm doing on my MacBook that I couldn't do here. It's just that I'm used to using the MacBook. That's the only reason that I feel like, a lot of cutting and pasting, and we use a lot of like Google Sheets, which is easier to use in the MacBook, in the browser. So, yeah, if I were going to buy one device for myself,
this would be
it. For what I do,
wow.
which is, writing and editing and,
Now, we bought the 128 gigabyte version. There is a 32 gigabyte version, which is a couple $100 less. I think it exists mostly so that Apple can say it starts at $749, but I think also there might be a business application. Some businesses may say, well, you're only going to run the estimate program, so we'll just get you the 32 gig for that purpose. But the one most of us are going to buy, 128 gigs, is $950. Then you add the keyboard. This keyboard only $150. Then you add the pen. What is that? Another $100? This is as much as your MacBook.
Right, and you didn't even add LTA to this. Like, there's no, or you didn't add, cellular to this.
So to me, it's heavier, it's less capable, and it's as expensive as a MacBook. I actually prefer my MacBook. And I find it interesting that you say you reach for your MacBook out of habit, but you're content with this.
Even after a few days, I'm getting used to doing it this way. It's just comfort. Viewer Stan Cook, who writes us all the time, he loves his Apple Watch. He just got one. He loves it. He's a web designer. He says, he's been using it a lot. He says it does operate like a laptop without the drawbacks. What makes it really tick to me is the Logitech keyboard, and it just works. He has the same.
Yeah, I would strongly recommend, if you're going to get a keyboard, at least right now, this is the one to get.
Right, and he said he's not an artist. He'll never be one. So yeah, he likes it too.
But he's a designer.
Yes.
So he is an artist.
Right, but not, he's not going to.
Not a painter.
Yeah. But I'll show you, even without, I don't know if you showed these pictures that Greg Burnett did.
He did
over
a great job with his
weekend.
finger.
Yeah, he just used his finger. Now, Greg, he works here, and
he's actually, but we should say he's quite a talented artist to begin with.
And so he used paper, and he didn't buy any of the extra brushes. This is what he did. Just
I think
on
those
an
extra
afternoon.
brushes are free now, by the way, so you don't need to.
Good.
Do
He
that.
drew a little picture of Carly. He used this from an art book. And he drew this of
Makes me wish I had talent.
Here, he made us the little logo.
Oh.
I looked at this for a while. I was like, Greg, is that supposed to be me? iOS. And he said,
That is you.
Here, a non-artist, that's what I drew. So,
I'm not going to judge the drawing. Was it satisfying and fun for you to do that?
It was it was therapeutic.
Okay.
It was, and I did use a stylus a little bit, and I also used
I
my
think
finger.
if you had the pencil, it would be even more fun, right?
Yes. So it was just fun. Like, it's not like I messed up my art. I'm not going to be an artist, but it is fun to draw. You forget. Like, it's fun. I really like paper. And there was another app that I downloaded called UMake. Have you ever used that?
It was one that was featured at the iPad Pro announcement. It's the 3D car design program. We actually talked to the creator of UMake one Sunday afternoon on Twit. He was in studio with us. And this was designed specifically for the iPad
So if
Pro.
I were a 3D designer or any kind of designer, I would know what to do with this. I watched some of the videos, but this is beyond what I can do. But if you are, this is
They showed a designer designing a car from scratch in UMake.
Yeah, that's crazy.
What are you drawing there?
I don't know.
Stop that. But the guy he threw me now. In the keynote, the guy was able to design a car from scratch using only that. So I think that's pretty remarkable. And if you're a car designer or a designer who needs a 3D design tool, fantastic. I think the iPad Pro is I would say for people who know what they want to do with it. Whether it's they want to use a GarageBand or a music program to do mixing on the iPad Pro, or they're artists or filmmakers. But you have to know what you want to do with it. I wouldn't run to the store and buy it unless you know you have an application that's gonna really take advantage of this extra size screen. Because most applications are just blown up big.
Right. Or, this is what John Gruber said, iPad Pro, MacBook Pro, the Pro doesn't necessarily mean professional. It sometimes means someone who just wants a nice thing. And, if you have enough money to spend on this and if you're going to buy, the other thing Stan said, our viewer Stan Cook, is that the iPad he was replacing was old. It was on its last legs. So I'm saying, if you just got an iPad in the last year or two, you don't need to upgrade this.
But even if it's your first iPad, that's kind of my point, is I don't think it's the go-to iPad. I like it that Apple has a Mini, an Air, and the iPad Pro. And I think for me, I still prefer the Mini. I want the compactness. I like the iOS, I like the touch interface, but I want the compactness. So I'm not sure it's the you must-have iPad. even if you don't, I think you got to really look at it and see what you're going to use it for.
Well, that's interesting because I think we're coming at this from different directions. What I say is you have to really look at what you're going to use a laptop for. And, do you really need that instead of just an iPad? And what you're saying is, do you really need to use this for? I mean, that's why I'm saying, like, I have a MacBook, so I don't necessarily think I would go out and buy this. But if I didn't have the MacBook,
instead of it, you would buy.
Instead.
So let me get a little analytical here. What's the difference between this and a MacBook? On the negative, it's bigger, heavier. On the positive, it's got great battery life, right? We're easily 10 hours. I never really thought about battery.
Yeah, we watched a full movie. It lasted all day easily.
Speed-wise, I think probably technically it's not as fast as a MacBook. It's hard to say. It's apples and oranges. But I think from most users' point of view, there's no real difference. On the other hand, a MacBook gives you a full operating system with access to a file system, the ability to connect other devices, the ability to do more general purpose stuff. And the iPad is very limited. You can't access the file system. It's an iPad. You can only do stuff you can do on an iPad. And so I think, again, I would say if you have used an iPad and you know what the iPad can do for you, and you think a bigger screen would be of a benefit for you, yes. But I think most people still, golly, not most people. I recommended iPads for people who just want to surf the internet and do email. The iPad's fine. I guess you really have to think about what you're going to do with this device and get the device that's right. A writer should not be using this.
Why not? I mean, a writer could use Pages, a writer could use Google Docs, a writer could use anything, and their files would be in the cloud, and they would have them immediately. They wouldn't need the file system that you're talking about.
Okay. I mean, don't you ever want to have other things open, do research, have, take snippets of articles, put them together into a notebook, and have that notebook available while you're writing? All the things a windowing operating system can do. The biggest difference to me, of course, is the touch versus the not touch. If you put touch on a MacBook, I think a MacBook could be a no-brainer.
Yeah, that's true. But they don't have that yet.
And I don't think a writer needs touch. A writer needs a keyboard.
Right.
Right?
Well, when I found that I was going back to my MacBook, I tried to touch my MacBook. I wanted to touch things on the screen.
I know, that's very frustrating,
Yeah.
isn't it? Apple has said, in fact, Tim Cook just said it in Ireland, no, not going to converge iOS and OS X. They're two different things. We feel that the best experience from each comes from having, one touch and one not touch. iOS is more than just a touch operating system, though. It's a much simpler, more secure operating system. It has many, many apps, but you can't, for instance, write an app for iOS and sell it yourself. You have to sell it through Apple,
right,
which limits, I think, the range of apps you can get. Apple refuses to carry some apps because they don't believe it belongs in their store. We've even had trouble with Apple our Apple TV developer, one of them said they refused his Apple TV app because we have Android podcasts. That's the environment you're getting into with the iPad. Is a very controlled environment, controlled unilaterally by Apple. A desktop computer like a MacBook is much more open.
Yes.
Nobody's saying you can't run whatever you want on a MacBook. You can.
Right.
I can't put Perl on this. We were just talking to the inventor of Perl. I can't put Perl on the iPad, and even if I could, I wouldn't want to use it.
Yeah. I mean, I assume that we're talking to people who are already buying into the iOS.
Well, I think both, right? Because people who watch iOS today may have an iPad and a MacBook. So that's all I'm saying.
Right.
Is think very seriously about what you want to use it for. This iPad is even in a separate category from the other iPads, which are, of course, in a completely separate category from a laptop or a desktop computer.
Right.
And they're all useful.
Yes.
My mom loves her iPad. I wouldn't make her use a desktop or a laptop. She loves her iPad.
Yeah, I mean, for some people, that's what they've been looking for. I think Kevin Toffel, he's coming on Tech News tonight. Tonight, he wrote an interesting article in ZDNet about how he thinks now is the time for the smaller iPhone, like the smaller into that rumor.
So get a small iPhone and a big iPad.
Right, then you have an iPad, because it's like, this is getting to be so big.
I just want to carry one device. That's the other reason I don't really feel the need for an iPad. I have an iPhone 6s Plus, and that's plenty of space for me to do a lot of the things.
Right.
Not draw,
Yeah.
not mix music. That's where you want a bigger iPad. One thing, speaking of music, this does so well is the speakers. Do you like how the speakers sound?
Yes, the speakers are awesome. And also, you can watch and listen with two people, two 10-year-olds in the back of a minivan,
and it's loud
for
enough,
example.
yeah. But it's not merely how loud it is.
It's good.
The bass, the sound quality is, I feel like it's just really excellent. Let me turn this up. This is, Oh, I took it out when I.
No, you want it out.
Oh,
Listen up, right.
Doi. They said take it out so we can hear the speakers. Of course.
The quad speakers. So you get 4 speakers, right?
4 speakers, but only 2 at a time, I think. Because the idea is when you rotate it, it will now rotate the speakers so you continually have a left-right experience. This isn't any good. Let me put some.
And it's not going to sound great
music.
In this case. It's not going to sound as good, right?
The case has.
It has holes,
it
yeah.
has
But I
holes.
mean, I'm assuming that it's really meant to not. If you're going to be watching, or I guess listening.
I think it sounds really good, and surprisingly, the bass is very good. I don't know why I can't find any music apps. I have a ton of them on here. It's oh yeah, of course. That sounds terrible.
That does sound not so good.
You know, that's not the fault of the speakers. That's you too.
That's you too.
Let's pick something that sounds. Here's a little Matchbox 20. You can't go wrong with Matchbox
Never.
20. Of course, people listening at home can't tell, but
No.
if you're here in the studio, this sounds good. This is not bad at all. I mean, it's not as good as if you had a Jawbone jam box. It's like the little jam box, maybe. It's usable. And certainly for a movie or TV show, it'd be fine. For an audiobook, it'd be fine. And I even think for occasional music listening, it ain't bad. This could be, if you listen to the Beats radio, this would be okay for that, right? So, expensive,
Yes.
honkin' big. I mean, you said you could put it in your purse.
I have a big purse, but
I think
a lot of
most
people do.
people's. Would you take this out of the house?
I did. I took it
Yeah, to
this
make your
weekend.
movie, but-
No, I took it. I had a soccer tournament in Davis, and I took it with me. I have to say, I was a little afraid handing it over to my children because, you know,
Oh
I
my
didn't buy
gosh.
it, and it's expensive.
Oh
but
my gosh.
everything's fine.
Okay.
But yes, I did take it out of the house.
I feel like I would never take this out of the house. It's like,
Really?
especially in this case, it's so big and heavy.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was
love my MacBook. It's so light compared to this.
Well, it was, yeah, we had an hour and a half in the car both ways twice.
Good for watching TV.
Yeah, if it's you know, it's a laptop that fits on your lap. Sometimes the Bluetooth keyboards, the new, they don't actually fit in your lap. This works
This
in
one,
your lap.
yeah. How about? I was not able to wear down the battery, but it sounds like you used it a lot. Did you get to a point at some time when it needed to be charged?
I charged it at night, and it was about 20% still.
Okay.
Like I said,
Yeah,
after
that's the thing.
movies and working,
It's
and
got great battery life.
it really does.
Probably a little slow to charge, though. You would
Yeah,
want
it
to
was
charge it
not.
overnight.
Yeah,
It's
it
not
was
gonna.
not.
It's got such a huge capacity.
Yeah.
Very fast processor. Of course, Apple's saying it's a desktop class processor, and it is noticeably fast. I think here's one other reason to get it, and this is a total luxury. If you like to play iPad games, they do really come to life on this size platform. I was showing Goat Simulator, and now this hasn't been in any way modified to fit the iPad, but it's just fast and easy, and the buttons are big, and you can really see what you're doing. Let me just headbutt this guy because I don't like his looks, and so that's a lot of fun. Are you not getting the sound out of that? I wonder if my sound is. There we go. It's much more fun if you hear the goat. And even if you play games that are, really not about taking up a lot of space. This is Clash of Clans, which is a very popular kind of strategy game on iOS. There's just something about having all this space and being able to zoom in and really see all this detail that's great. Now, some games have been modified. Monument Valley just came out. This has been, of course, one of the most popular iPad games.
Weird that it's only.
Does it only play this way? I can't remember. I thought it would go sideways.
Yeah, that's interesting. Are you sure that's the newest version?
Yeah, I
for
just
the
updated
iPad?
it. Yeah.
Maybe it is only in.
Forgotten Story.
Portrait.
Oh, yeah, you can buy the new stories. I'm not going to do that, though. No, let's cancel that. Purchase failed. Let's play the original. But I think this is, because of the great music and the beautiful graphics, this has been updated to match the iPad. I think this is an example of what a luxury to buy a $1,000 tablet to play a game like this. But at the same time, I feel like this is pretty cool. This is, let's put it this way: if you bought the iPad Pro to do something else, games
Right. Yeah,
really
if
sing
you're
on
going to
it.
work and then play a game. It's
Look at-
both. It's the
look at
first time you
Hearthstone.
can create and absorb content.
This Hearthstone, for the first time for me, looks really playable on this. I mean, I'm not a big card fan. A lot of people love this and consider this one of the best. Oh, that's you.
Sorry, that was my flight
Are you
simulator.
taking off?
No.
Do you want to show that?
No,
'Cause
no,
that's
you
a good
could show your
example.
Hearthstone. Yeah, well, X-Plane is a flight sim game
start-
that.
So this you can play on the iPad, right? But
Yes.
I think on the iPad Pro, it seems to me that's really wasteful to buy a $950 tablet. But at the same time, man, it does look good. And if you're
Right.
buying it for other reasons, that is kind of a side benefit. Plants vs. Zombies is fun to
I was trying
play
to get
on
this to load. There we go.
You were taking off somewhere.
Well, that was another flight sim. Hold the device.
Oh, you have other
comfortably.
flight sims?
Yes, and
See, look at that.
I have to skip.
Skip the, you're on the cutscene.
Well done.
Well
Retry.
done.
I guess
Mission
I was doing
complete.
it. There we go.
There you go.
Practice.
Oh, so you actually steer with the iPad?
Yes.
That'll make you sick fast.
Right. And the people watching at home.
You don't have to do that, do you? Or maybe you do. I don't know.
I think the other flight sim, which has ads in it, was these. That was the one I was playing before.
Which one it's called?
This one is just called Flight Simulator.
Okay.
And yeah, we can get started more. And then,
It's funny because these weren't games you would ever consider playing on a mobile device
know, not-
until now.
Right.
The controls are too complicated, too detailed. You really need this screen real estate. These are traditionally computer games, but I think it's pretty good. Is that Flight Simulator? It might be Microsoft's Flight Simulator. I don't know.
and I think
No,
I'm
didn't
about
they
to take off.
discontinue that?
There we go.
So this is the dessert part. I mean,
Yeah.
I wouldn't recommend. I can't
you're not
imagine
gonna
buying
buy
this
this
just to
for
play
it
games.
now.
But boy, it's and if you got to keep kids busy, how did the kids? Now the kids are smaller. Did they have any trouble with it?
No, they didn't have any trouble with it.
Did
The
they
only
go,
trouble was
Mama,
me.
what's wrong with this iPad? It's-
No, they only had trouble with me following them around. Be careful, be careful, be careful.
Careful, don't drop that, Leo. Will kill me.
But yes, kid tested, kid approved.
Mom approved too, apparently.
Mom approved. And so, yeah, it is nice to have a device that I could work on and then hand
then
over
play
to
with.
them, and they can
Yeah.
watch a movie, or I can watch a movie. We can even watch a movie together.
I guess that's what we would say. That's what Apple would say anyway. Is that this is really designed for productivity plus consumption. And previous iPads, as much as people were able to do with them, previous iPads were really designed for consumption primarily. But now Apple really wants people to see this as a desktop computer replacement.
So
And
how
it-
would you
and it-
compare it to the Surface? Or to
Well, so that's an interesting question because Apple's Tim Cook said, when I said this is going to replace your PC, I meant your Windows PC. I'm not talking about the Mac. Keep buying those. But if it replaces a Windows PC, it would equally well replace a Mac. I got to point that out, Tim. There's not that much of a difference. Microsoft has been making this product. In fact, some people say this is just Apple's backhanded tribute to Microsoft's Surface. They've been making a tablet with a full operating system on it for some time. I bought the Surface Book, so that's a Windows 10 laptop where the screen detaches. By the way, the screen is about the same size as this. The big difference is instead of being 4x3, it's 3x2. It's more square. But it has came with a stylus, not as good as the Apple Pencil. They call it a pen. It has an eraser, but it doesn't have the side painting that you can do with the Apple Pencil. I'll be honest with you, the Surface Book I really like, and I like it because I can do both. I can use it as a tablet, much as you'd use the iPad Pro, but I can also use it as a desktop operating system. The negative on that is Windows 10 is really, its heritage is desktop, and so there's controls that are hard to touch with your finger because it's really not designed to be a tablet. The touch was an afterthought, and that's where Apple does have an advantage. Touch is not an afterthought. Touch is the first thought on the iPad, and so as a touch-centric OS, it certainly beats Windows 10. But Windows 10 beats the iPad as a full-service OS. You know, it can do everything.
You know what I like that Windows does that Apple doesn't is the start pages. There's so much space here. Like, look at all. I want I want the tile, like Windows Phone system, where you can have like tiles and more. I want to see everything.
This
I don't
kind of
want,
bothered me
like,
too. It
yeah,
felt like
there's so much extra
this is
space
wasted
here.
space. They didn't rethink the Springboard. That's the operating system interface that you see when you first launch it. They didn't rethink Springboard to take advantage of this extra real estate. I just have giant icons that are spread out. That was my complaint about the iPhone 6 Plus when it first came out. Is, well, you've just made it a bigger screen. I would love to see Apple kind of at least allow us to reduce the grid size. I'd like to get more icons there, things like that. This is exactly the same as my iPad screens, just blown up bigger.
And I don't know why sometimes I can't move the apps over. Like I can't move, I want Twitter on there.
That's always been a little difficult, challenging.
I want to do that, and I don't know why I can't do that.
Yeah, and sometimes you can't get stuff into a folder, it jumps around.
Right, and then of course there's the same old stuff where it's like, here's this stuff, I don't want that.
Was that dog okay after you ran it over?
That's Gilbert, he wanted a belly rub.
Yeah.
We all do sometimes.
Who doesn't? Exactly.
So yeah, that would be my complaint. That's my favorite thing about the Windows Phone. I just like the tiles, the way they set it up. I would like that.
Somebody's at my front door. It's my Ring Video doorbell. It's really great for that, by the way. There is big screen video of my front door.
That is good.
I mean, so there's sometimes where you go, wow. And by the way, isn't this a beautiful screen?
It is.
I think I think Apple outdid itself. They really made a gorgeous screen.
20 billion pixels, right? 5.6 million pixels.
And a nice fast processor. A lot of things to recommend. It's a lot of money. I think before you run to get one, you really want to think seriously about what am I going to do with this that I couldn't do with a MacBook or my existing laptop or with a smaller iPad. And unless you come up with something that's specifically using this 12.9 inches, it's hard to say spend $949.
And what I would say is before you go out and buy a laptop, sit and think, what are you going to use the laptop for? That might be even more. And like a super fast laptop, could you use an iPad Pro instead? That's what I would say.
Certainly things that are touch-centric, like drawing. I think if I were an artist, man, this is the best thing ever. In fact, I should send my mom one because she loves to draw on her iPad, and she would just flip her lid. I actually gave her a Samsung Galaxy Note 4 with a stylus, and she does a lot of drawing on it. She would really love this.
Well, you can let us know what you think. You can email our show at iOS Today at twit.tv. You can email me, Megan, at twit.tv. I'm on Twitter at Megan Maroney. I welcome your opinions if I got it completely wrong or if Leo got it completely wrong.
We can have a vote. Who's right here? No, I like it that we have these two different points of view. I think that's really great. How could they do that?
And our sponsor today is Automatic, which I'm really excited about. You've talked about Automatic before.
I've been using it for a long time. Did you get one?
I haven't gotten one, no, but I would like one. Thank you.
All right, you can have one. This is, let me do the ad before I give it to you.
Do the ad.
It looks like a sport drink, actually, but it's not. This is a device that goes in your car. Every car made since 1996 has an OBD onboard diagnostic port, OBD2 port, and this fits right into it. You'll find it in most cases under the steering wheel. You probably don't even know it's there, but there are some really cool things you can do with this. This is the Automatic. It plugs right into your OBD port, and it's going to help you become a better driver.
And save money too, right? Doesn't it tell you how much money you've spent on gas?
It tells you about gas. It tells you when you accelerate too fast. It tells you when you brake too hard. It gives you information. You know when you ever have the light? There it is. That's her OBD port right under there. Almost all of them are right under the dash there. You know when you see the diagnostic light come on in your car, it'll tell you why it's come on and what the diagnostic is. It'll also make a game out of all your travel. So there's my car. I've spent $8 in fuel, and this was last week. I don't drive a whole lot because I just drive to work and back. Get 19.3 miles per gallon. Here's the various trips. It's really cool when you know it costs you 47 cents for that trip, like the trip to the grocery store or to the video store to get the latest video cassette. That is important information that might maybe
video cassette.
Sure.
At the video
yeah. Okay, it's been a while since I've left the house. So that's important information. You get this all. This is the quantified self, the quantified car. You also get real-time performance data. It will beep at you if you do things like step on the gas too hard or step on the brakes too hard. or speed too much. Lisa doesn't like that feature. I had to turn that off for her.
For her.
She said, why does it keep beeping at me? Well, because you're going over 70 miles an hour, Lisa. You can even use this to get your business expenses into Concur and Expensify. It works with if this, then that. I have an if this, then that set up so that when I pull up to the studio, it actually tweets. I have a Twitter account that's my bot. It'll tweet and say, Leo just pulled up to the studio. I think a show's about to begin. It even sends, using if this, then that, to my Evernote notebook, a notebook for every trip, how far I went, the map of the trip, all sorts of useful information. And it's all automatic, and there's no monthly fee. There's no subscription. I get it on my Pebble Watch and my Apple Watch too. Automatic promises. Your data is safe with them. They never sell that. This is so cool. It can even integrate with things like your Nest thermostat. Believe it or not, using if this, then that, you can say, Leo's on his way home. Turn the heat up or the air conditioning on. And by the way, I never lose my car. It always knows where my car is parked.
I need that.
Now, normally it's $99.95, and it's really worth it. This is the new edition, the second generation automatic. I have had both the first and the second, and I really love it. By the way, you've got kids that'll be driving soon. This will tie in with a program for kids to help them become better drivers, help you keep track of where they are. It's really great for cars that teenagers drive. We're going to give you 20% off. That is an amazing deal. When you go to automatic.com/twit, this is the second generation automatic adapter. Everything you need to know. The apps on Android and iOS and the web are free. There's a crash alert service that's really nice. I don't know about the travel cup, but is this a travel cup? All right. Wow, that's cool. I threw mine out. I should have kept it. It's automatic.com/twit, and you're going to save 20% if you use the offer code TWIT at checkout. That's a great deal. I'm a big fan of Automatic. They made this all so easy to use. It was so great. And when we first talked about it, they didn't have an Android app, and I'm really pleased that they've made an Android app as well too.
Yeah, my New Year's resolution is going to be internet, all the things.
Oh.
And so.
So you don't
the
throw
travel
out.
cup.
You don't.
Oh, it's actually a cup. I thought it was
I
just
threw
a cup
this
for you.
out. I didn't know that this was actually a travel cup. So when you get it, keep
Don't
the
throw it.
packaging.
Yeah.
That's
Cup.
great.
Oh.
Shows. Whoa. It's all right. It's soft rubber. Yeah, we'll get you one. I didn't know you didn't have one.
I don't, and
We'll get you
it
one.
works in my car because they were using it in a Mini Cooper.
If
We
it-
said any car since
1996, the OBD2
yeah.
port. This is
So-
mandated by the federal government, so
Yeah.
they all have it. And actually, it's most often used by when you take it to the shop. But now we have access to that information, which I think is great.
All right, so there's been a few stories. Obviously the iPad Pro kind of dominated the Apple news. Apple Watch, they're on sale at Best Buy. You can get $50 off all Apple Watches across
So that'd be
the board.
$300 for the sport model. That's not bad. Now we're talking.
Yes, $299. Yes, with shipping.
Wow,
$299
that's really
shipped.
great.
And you can even get, if you don't care about having a box that's unopened, you can get it for $278.
Yeah. So people who bought it, looked at it, returned it, or whatever. That doesn't mean that they've been used. They're just open box.
Right,
That's
yeah.
great. They were demo models.
Yeah. Do you think that's bad news for the Apple Watch?
No, that's pretty typical. I think.
Other news, of course, over the weekend.
Tim Cook says the Apple Watch is selling great.
It's just
Don't worry.
fine. No,
Don't
I'm not
worry.
worried.
You love your Apple Watch.
I do love my Apple Watch. Yeah,
Yeah.
I tried the Microsoft Band and I liked it okay.
Oh, I don't. Oh,
But
it's
no,
gone.
It's not
The
now.
band is gone.
No, Alex is wearing it now because he's the Windows
He's the
guy,
Windows
so he
guy,
can
yeah.
really do
He's
some
our
more
token
things.
Windows user. Yeah.
So, of course, over the weekend there were the horrible attacks in Paris.
Very sad.
Very sad. And a lot of people, I know you talked about this over the weekend, use Facebook to check in.
Isn't that great?
Safety check.
So cool. Safety check. Thank you, Facebook.
Which was great. But then there were a lot of people complaining. I don't know if you were on social media at all this weekend, things like this get
Social
people...
media is made for whining. That's what I've decided.
Well, yeah, there were a lot of people saying like, well, this was horrible, but what about all the horrible violence that happens all over the world all the time, which is true, but I mean, compassion has to start somewhere. And, it's just like, that's the way that we were designed. It is, you feel fear for people that kind of look like you and are the same as you. There's nothing to be ashamed about that. I mean, it does cause a lot of problems that were like that. And you can think about it and say, yes, there's lots of violence in lots of places. And
You're really
we should,
digging it deeper and deeper each time.
Am I?
Yeah. What Zuckerberg just said is, yeah, you're right. From now on, we're going to do it for everything.
Yeah, that's what he
But
said.
this was the first time they'd ever done it for a man-made, a terrorist event.
Right. Yeah, people criticize Facebook
was
saying
natural events up to now.
why this event and not what happened in Beirut the day before.
It will. Next time,
Right.
it will.
It has to start somewhere.
Yeah.
So I thought that was good. I thought that was
I
good.
think that I understand the point, but they will.
Yeah.
You know, and look, this was a great thing. This really helped a lot of people. I had friends in Paris. I had two close friends in Paris. It was really nice to see. And by the way, one of the things that they do, not only Facebook, of course, knows that you're in Paris or wherever this event happens. And if you've checked Facebook, so you know, obviously, if you haven't checked Facebook since you've arrived, that's not going to know. But if it does know, it will pop up something the first time you go back to Facebook saying, "Hey, let your friends know you're okay. Are you okay?" And I was told that it does a notification. There you go. Are you okay? And then it also, I was told, will send you a text message if you don't respond. They try really hard
Right.
to get you to respond. And that's the double-edged sword of this. If you don't respond, there was one kid who was messing around, right, in Paris and didn't respond. And everybody got freaked out and really worried. That's the double-edged sword. You kind of have to respond now or you're going to scare your friends and family at home. But at the same time, it's such a useful tool. I knew immediately that Mara and Cedric were fine because I saw on Facebook, actually, I think the list was about 8 people that some I didn't even know were in Paris.
Right.
Paris is a very important city all over the world, and I think this was a very severe and terrifying act. But I think this is just the beginning. We'll see more of it.
Yeah, and you guys you had some great coverage this weekend. I tuned in
We
a
got
lot
Patrick
to
Beja on
yes,
Twit.
I am a fan of Patrick Beja, and
he was in Paris, and it was great to talk to him.
So yeah, I highly recommend all of the content that you did this weekend about
Thank
that
you.
because it's tough. I mean, we were doing Tech TV when September 11th happened, and it's this kind of like, oh well, does the tech news still go on even though this is horrible? And it's like I think you did a lot of great content this weekend on how you can use technology in times like this. And how, just the whole encryption stuff, which you know a lot more than I do about, but you covered excellently.
Yeah, I mean, I think that we're going to always, if we cover a story, a general story like that, we're only covered from the technology point of view. 9/11, there was no way not to cover it.
Right.
You remember we shut down the screensavers for a week, I think.
Right.
And I immediately went over to at the time we had Tech Live, their 24 or 12-hour, I think, a day tech news block that we did, and I went over and started anchoring. I remember anchoring with Erica Hill, and of course she's from New York. She had a lot of friends, and she was very worried. It was very difficult, but she held it together. She did a great job of anchoring that. Yeah, but generally, I think if we cover stuff, it's going to be covering it from that perspective. And there's certainly what's good. The good news / bad news is that tech's in everything now.
Yeah.
So no matter what happens, there's always going to be an angle. And in this case, it was social media, and you're right, encryption. Because of course immediately governments started saying, you see, you shouldn't be able to have privacy. We should be able to see in everything you do. Otherwise, how are we going to catch the bad guys? And while I understand that, you got to make sure you don't have some sort of knee-jerk reaction here and break systems, break crypto systems, and make backdoors in them that bad guys could use. The bad guys have known about this. If you watch The Wire, remember? What did they do? They had burner phones. They knew you don't talk on cell phones. Osama bin Laden didn't even have internet access in his compound because he knew that was dangerous. That's not a revelation to people.
Right.
They've known that, and there's going to be ways around it always.
Yeah, exactly. And I liked what Patrick said, because he said, I mean, he said, when I heard about this, I thought, well, yes, we should have backdoors.
It's your natural reaction. It's like, get those
yes,
guys.
if that's going to save these people, then and then he just had to think, wait a minute, like that, it doesn't. They don't.
It doesn't save lives. That's the real truth.
So.
Yeah.
We're going to get to your emails and your questions, your tweets. But first, we want to talk about Lynda.
I got a great app for the iPad Pro. Lynda.com would be awesome on the iPad Pro. I didn't even think of this. Lynda.com has, let me open it right now. Lynda.com has many courses, thousands of courses in every aspect of tech and everything. New courses at Lynda.com on Excel tips, up and running with Word 2016. That just came out. Essential training for QuickBooks Pro 2016. That's what we use for our accounting. There's also a weekly series on communications tips. I love this. It'll help you hone your communication skills, especially at work, so you can deal with, this never happens, difficult people? No. Influence others, confidently speak in public, It's all there, lynda.com. And the best part is you don't have to decide ahead of time what videos, what things you want to learn at lynda.com, because basically you pay one flat rate and you have access to everything. Everything. I love that. lynda.com. I particularly love the photography stuff. And look how, by the way, this interface, you know what? This is what the iPad Pro was made for, because you have the course list here. You have the video playing. You can read the description or learn more about the author while the video is playing. Take a look at similar suggested courses. And of course, if you want to go full screen and sit back and enjoy it, you can. You can even AirPlay it to your Apple TV. Boy, this is great. lynda.com. They're well produced. Courses and everything you want, flat rate, so you get to see everything. You can download these tutorials and watch them on the go on your iPad or your Android device. I am a fan, and right now we're going to give you a free 10-day trial, so you have 10 days to see everything Lynda can do. Go to lynda.com/iOS today for 10 days free. lynda.com.
So Faisal from Dubai sent in a question. He said, I wish my Apple Watch could have an option for me to display the time all the time.
I agree.
Even if that was in low density black and white. And that feature doesn't exist because of the battery yet.
Android Wear does that.
Yeah.
That's how Android Wear works. It has what they call an ambient mode, and it's a low power mode. And there's no reason Apple couldn't do that. I think the battery life is sufficient that they could do that.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised to see them
In the future. You can turn it on for longer. You can, in the general settings, I can show you
Yeah,
that.
let's see that, because I don't know how to do that.
So settings, general.
Okay, settings, general.
Wake.
Oh, I didn't know this.
So that's on wrist raise, which takes up a little more battery. And then, you can resume. I don't know if you knew that. You can resume
I did know that,
okay.
yeah.
And then wake 15 or 70 seconds. So.
Oh, that's so much better. I'm changing
you
that.
keep it on a little bit longer. You get,
Well, 70 seconds is a good long time.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so great. I did not know that.
So, yeah, you can change that back.
I wonder if that's new with WatchOS.
It is new with OS.
Yeah.
WatchOS 2.
I'm changing mine right
if
now.
anyone has any suggestions, like maybe, I don't know, I guess that it's internal, so there wouldn't be an app that could keep it on.
No, I think Apple has to enable that.
But the Microsoft Band also, you can look at the time. So people who have always used a watch before a smartwatch, I think that.
I have it set for 70.
Oh, I think maybe that turned it on by default.
Oh.
But yeah, I like to know what time it is. I look a lot.
Well, it is a watch. Seems like that's kind of a fundamental function of a watch.
But some people were going from no watch to a smartwatch.
Well,
right?
if you don't care. Right, And it's pretty good about waking up, right?
Yeah, most of the time. I don't know. Sometimes it takes longer than I would like.
Somebody told me don't do it too vigorously.
Oh yeah, that happens too. So,
Do it
whenever I'm angry.
Just like a gentle.
A gentle.
Let me just sneak up on the watch.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Really does
You don't
work
need to do it too
faster.
vigorously. In fact, too vigorously can block it.
Yeah, interesting. Good tip. Ray from Kent Island, Maryland asks, what are the stands that you and Leo use on iOS today?
Well, we don't use them anymore.
We don't. It's true. But what were those stands?
Actually, we'll probably go back to those because I won't always be using this giant iPad.
Pad grip.
Fast grip?
Pad grip.
Pad
Pad
grip.
grip.
Pad grip.
Pad grip. He also wants to-
P-A-D-G-R-I-P.
P-A-D, pad grip.
Pad grip.
And these are, of course, the Logitech
Custom
Create.
stands.
Magnetic X.
Those are great. We've tried a lot of different stands, and those have been really good for us. But remember, we have a certain need. I have to say that there is a case for using the iPad as a second screen for your Mac, or having it on a stand and having a wireless keyboard. So I would love to look at iPad Pro stands. And I'd like one thing that neither the Apple keyboard nor this Create from Logitech do is give you alternate angles. You have to be at this angle. I would love something that would allow me to adjust this. And then maybe I'd just use the little Apple Bluetooth keyboard, because that would work with this, right?
So speak to me more about using this as a second screen for your MacBook.
Yeah,
How do you do that?
This is, by the way, is this what we're using?
No.
That's the one I use at my desk, too.
This is a different one.
That can hold your iPad.
That would work with the Pro.
Would this work with the
'cause
Pro?
it's
Oh,
on
because
top.
it's an easel.
Yeah.
So instead of gripping it at the top and the bottom, it only grips at the...
No, though. If it
You don't
looks
think
like it
so?
might fall off, I would be scared that it would fall off.
Well, I don't really care, so let me try it with mine.
Oh, that came out pretty easy.
Yeah, I'm getting good at ripping it out of there.
Wait, so
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's not bad.
that is good. That is good.
That's pretty good.
but not, but in
But you
portrait
can't turn it
mode?
on the side. That's the only drawback. Oh, I guess, yeah, you can. You just do it like that. Yeah.
Just gotta lose the
But it would
You
be
just
nice
have to
have,
reinsert. You know what? That works. Looks a little weird.
a little top heavy from this.
When I get to heaven, if St. Peter is sitting there with an iPad Pro, I think I'm in trouble.
So,
I'm just saying.
Slow-Mo pointed out that Serenity has an article in iMore called "The Tea Stand
course
Gives
she
the
does.
iPad Pro a place at your desk or on
Of
your
course
lap."
she
The
does.
Tea Stand.
The tea stand. This
so
is a
that's
nice one. What is the
tea
name of this one?
You've had this before.
And the keyboard does not work without being attached. So that keyboard is not the good one. What I would suggest is getting one of the Apple Bluetooths or somebody else's Bluetooth and using it like this. You know what? I might just use this instead. I like that. Of course, the cameras now are not in position anymore. But oh, it works. You're very good, Anthony. You adjusted that like a pro.
Mm-hmm. Like a.
Look, I could buy a car spung.
He also wants to know your headphones.
What's a car spong?
Cleaning sponge.
Spong.
Ray.
Oh, here's another one. Wait a minute. This one I've had for a while.
Yeah, both of them work.
Yeah, this is from Just Mobile. This might be better. This is a little smaller.
Well,
Look at that.
Rubber feet.
Look at that. So you know what? I think this is probably, if you're going to get an iPad Pro, my counsel would be, well, see, the angle on this is not
also,
as good.
none of those are good if you're really going to draw with the pencil. Like that was the Tea Stand that Serenity was using. She was drawing with it.
Yeah, you want something maybe a little flatter? Yeah.
Or that wouldn't fall, like you can, so the thing about the pencil that's different than other styli, is that you can put your hand
Right,
on
and
there
it's got
and it's
palm
not gonna,
rejection,
yeah,
yeah.
so like you wouldn't want to be drawing with your, like I would be afraid you would knock it over, but I don't know.
No, it's
maybe.
pretty sturdy.
Yeah, Ray also wants to know the headphones that you use for Security Now and the Tech Guy, etc.
I get that question a lot.
Are they AKG?
AKG K240s.
AKG.
Do we have,
K240.
we still have that wiki page with all of the equipment we use is on our wiki page, wiki.twit.tv. Easy way to find out. Now, it's not always up to date, like this stand won't be on there yet.
Kenny N asked on Twitter, can you play iOS today on your Amazon Echo?
Kenny? Yes. In fact, I do that. I listen to your show every afternoon. I
you
listen to
do?
Mike's show every morning
What do
on
you
my
tell-
Echo.
What do you tell Alexa so you can listen?
Don't say the A word because we don't want to wake up anybody's Echo.
Do you say?
You say I'll say Echo instead of the A word,
Okay.
right? You say Echo, listen to iOS Today on TuneIn Radio.
Okay.
And TuneIn Radio is one of a number of apps that are available by voice command on the Echo, and it happens to have not only all our shows but live. So you can say also, this is what I usually do, I say Echo, listen to Twit Live. She thinks it's called Live. Listen to Twit Live on TuneIn Internet Radio.
So it has to be live, or you can listen to recorded shows?
Both.
Excellent.
It's actually a really great podcast listening device.
yeah.
You know?
I do like
Yeah.
my Echo,
Oh,
and
I do
learned
too.
some new things too. She can call bingo for you. Have you used that yet?
Yes, B52. B52. You could play bingo with her.
Yeah, and I was so excited. I told my kids that, and you know what they said? What is bingo?
What?
Apparently, I have two 10-year-olds and a 12-year-old who I've failed
You
to
failed
raise
them
right.
miserably.
Because they
know
don't know
about
what bingo
bowling,
is.
right?
They know what bowling is, yes.
Yeah, we're lucky in Petaluma we have the last bowling alley in California.
Right, but they had never played bingo, so that's our goal.
You know, it'll also tell political jokes.
Oh, political jokes
You could
specifically?
say, yes, you could say, Echo, tell me a Barack Obama joke, or Echo, tell me a Hillary Clinton joke, or a Donald Trump joke. I love the Donald Trump jokes. Yeah, just fun for the whole family.
Yeah. Your whole family?
My whole family.
All right, you can email us at twit.tv/iOS today, and you can call us. Our phone number is 757-504-iPad, and that number is 504-4723. And now we are going to talk about our third sponsor, Wealthfront.
I like Wealthfront so much. It's a problem all of us face if you are saving up for your retirement or saving up for your mortgage for your first house, your down payment. Maybe you're saving up. You should have a rainy day fund too. Where do you put that stuff? Not in the mattress, and really not in a savings account. Interest rates in savings accounts are laughably low. You've got to invest it, but investing is a challenge unless you really want to spend a lot of time and a lot of energy. And I've done this, reading all the books, learning all the rules, and even then it's pretty darn hard to get ahead. Okay, so you say, well, that's not a problem. I'll hire a financial advisor. Problem with that is they take 1 to 3% of your investment every year, and hidden fees, transaction fees, things like that, that can, and in the long run, eat away the entire gain on your investment. So that's not a good solution. I've got a better way. Wealthfront. Go to wealthfront.com. This is it's computer trading, okay? But it's not day trading. It's not, flash boys. This is really smart programs designed and run by the best investment advisors in the world. People like Charles D. Ellis, Burton Malkiel. These guys wrote the book. In fact, books I read when I was trying to learn how to do this. And they and their team, with more than 200 years of investment experience, 16 investment books under their belt, they are the ones guiding the software. And the software does stuff that really even a human advisor couldn't or wouldn't want to do, unless you have a human advisor that's thinking about you 24/7. Wealthfront will reinvest in clever ways to avoid tax consequences. They'll do something like called tax loss harvesting, direct indexing. They will optimize your after-tax returns, simultaneously lowering your tax bill. So they're better than a human advisor. They do a better job, and get this, they're a lot less. 1/4 of 1% a year. Not 1, 2, 3% a year like a traditional advisor. 1/4 of 1% a year. That's less than $5 to invest a $30,000 account per month. And there are no additional charges. There's no hidden fees. No wonder Wealthfront is growing so fast, 20 times bigger in the last 2 years, $2.6 billion in investments. This is a great solution. Now, I don't expect you to take my word for it. You're going to want to do the research. So go to wealthfront.com/iOS today. You can actually go through the process, answer a few questions about your time frame and your risk aversion. By the way, you can have multiple accounts. You can have retirement and a joint account and a rainy day fund account. You can have as many as you want. All of your accounts are available. You can see exactly what Wealthfront's doing at any time. Every trade is visible on their special software for your tablet, your phone, or on the website. There's no mystery. It's completely transparent, completely accessible. And when you give them that information, their risk and time frame and so forth, they'll give you free a personalized investment portfolio so you can see what they would invest in on your behalf. You'll see exactly the allocation they recommend for you. And you get started for as little as $500, your initial investment. However, the best thing about this is they will manage your first $15,000 free of charge forever. Not 1, 2, 3%, not 1/4 of 1%, but 0% forever. For the first 15 grand. This is such a good deal. I want you to take advantage of this. For compliance purposes, I have to tell you, Wealthfront Incorporated is an SEC registered investment advisor. Brokerage services are offered through Wealthfront Brokerage Corporation, member FINRA and SIPC. This is not a solicitation to buy or sell securities. Investing in securities involves risks, and there is the possibility of losing money. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. Please visit wealthfront.com to read their full disclosure. Wealthfront.com/iOS today. This is such a smart solution to kind of a thorny problem. Wealthfront.com/iOS today. Is it time for caps?
It's time for caps.
Let me get my app cap on.
The time where we wear funny hats.
Yeah, you look good in a top hat.
Thank you. We wear
And
funny
me?
hats. We talk about our favorite app.
I'm Batman.
They're
Seems like
coordinated.
Batman's mask covered his whole head.
Also, that's stretching the cap a little bit. Definition of cap.
It's an app mask.
Yeah, okay, mask. I get it. I like it. They look good together. That was clearly the thinking here.
Yeah.
Okay, this app is not new, but I love it so much, and it was new to me. I asked everyone to recommend apps for me. Staff Picks, and Patrick Delahanty
that's a nice
recommended
idea.
Action Movie FX.
Oh, I love it too.
And it does have new Star Wars stuff,
So
which
great.
is awesome. So the app itself is free, and then a lot of the packs cost 99 cents if you want to do different.
Does that make it better?
That makes it better.
Now it's an app cap.
So I am going to pick BB-8 because BB-8
Oh,
is
this
my
is how you
favorite.
made those.
Yeah, oh yeah, from my, okay,
Now I
so.
get it.
Are you ready? I'm gonna
I'm
just
ready.
press record. And then I recorded a little
You
bit.
have to know which effect you're going to use, right?
Yeah, I used the
Yeah.
BB-8 effect.
Okay.
And
There's a lot of them.
so now I've got tape here, just like in theater class, to tell me where to go back. And then I hit OK. And then,
This is by Special Effects guys.
yeah,
What
it's
do
by Bad Robot. The,
Bad Robot. So
J.J.
this is like
Abrams
pro
company.
stuff.
Yeah, it's, the real deal.
Whoa! Ow! That hurt.
So then I could share my movie, which I'm going to do.
This is so cool. I love this so much.
And then I can, share it on Instagram, and all the world can see
Yeah.
it. BB-8 just.
There's a lot of them though. There's a have you tried the spiders one?
The
That's a great
spider
one to scare
ones
people.
those
I
are
did that on
great.
the plane. The idea is you're going to shoot like 4 to 5 seconds of something. In this case, I just shot the aisle of the plane,
Here.
and then
we'll
it
just-
tells
I'll
you
show
what
you.
to shoot. Actually, that's perfect right
Yeah.
there. So you record 4 or 5 seconds.
And then it'll tell you when to stop when it turns green. the
Yeah.
red, and
There.
then.
And this scared the stewardess like nobody's business. Watch this.
This doesn't sound like a good thing to do on the plane.
Maybe
yeah.
I shouldn't have.
Actually, that's perfect.
Ah! 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 Oh, God. It's really realistic, isn't it?
It is,
I like
so-
how you had that thing in your video of the monster coming out of your iPad.
Yeah.
And it came out perfectly.
Right. So yeah, I've obviously made a lot of these. Here's one that blew up the backyard. There's one on the. I don't know what-
Yeah, see, oh, look, in the floor, there's a hole
Yeah.
and a missile.
That's what I do instead of cleaning my house.
Wow.
It's also.
You just started a thermonuclear war.
I did. Also available.
Tends to be a
on-
little explosion heavy.
Yes. So also, if you wanted to do it, there's also an Apple Watch app. So
What?
I know.
How would you do that?
So we have this already set up. Let's find it in my. Thank you. You just manhandle me. It's fine. There we go. So
Action
it's like the
movie.
camera app. It will control what you're waiting for. I think I have to open the app on my
Waiting
phone.
for viewfinder. Oh, I see. So it sees what
So-
you see.
Right.
Got it. Works with the phone. Yeah.
So go. Let me pick my.
The stewardess had a very good sense of humor about it all.
Okay, so
You could have gone to jail for interfering with the flight crew.
she did. So it's waiting for camera. So
And
then
it actually
I can
puts spiders in the plane.
set it up. Here, you hold that.
Okay.
And then I'll start it. So you just
Okay.
hold it.
I got to find a place to put. Wait a minute. Here, stay right there. No, go over there. Yeah. Okay.
You tell me when, and I'll press play. I'll press record. I mean.
Okay. Should I put it at his feet? You think? Go ahead.
I think he's gonna get stomped. I think
No,
that's what
really?
happens.
Oh, good. I like he's looking up. That's good. That's effing done. Jason Cleanthus.
All right. So
And now, ladies and gentlemen, this is what's going to happen.
now,
crashed.
Oh, did it crash?
It crashed.
What?
You
An
won't
Apple
get
Watch
stopped.
app
It
didn't
must have
work?
known. Must have known.
Did it save
No, that's
it?
really fun. And that actually came out a few years ago.
It did crash.
I think many years ago. But what's nice is they've been adding special effects, and now they have the new Star Wars: The Force Awakens effects, which are fun. There's BB-8. There's you could have a lightsaber battle. Darth Vader shows up in one of them.
And you can save them to your camera roll. So I think I saved a lot of these. Let's see. Yeah, that was
That's
on there.
awesome. That is. I mean, it really looks real. It's so effective.
Yeah,
I really love that.
yeah, so free, and then most of the packs are 99 cents.
You know, I ended up buying a bunch of them. I thought, it's
Yeah.
a buck. What's the big deal?
What's the big
right?
deal?
They deserve the money.
Yeah.
Very good. What's it called? Action
Action Movie FX.
Movie FX.
Yes.
Well, I'm going to do an. You know, we just got the Apple TV, but I thought I'd do an Apple TV app.
That
How about
sounds
that?
good. Yeah.
Because I think gaming on the Apple TV is a lot of fun. It's family gaming, right? So think of it as this is a game that's been out for ages. I played this on the Xbox. That's how long ago this came out. It's Rayman. Remember Rayman? And this is a Rayman adventure just for your Apple TV. It's a side scroller, puzzles, lots of really good puzzles. And you know, speaking of Serenity Caldwell, she says she played this for many hours when she first got her Apple TV. So we're going to try to find the trapped teensies and free them from their cage. All right. And he's going to help me out. You ready to go?
I'm ready.
All right, let's go. You jump by tapping your pad, and you can climb, which is kind of cool. Look at that. Isn't that fun? Oh, let's go higher. Whoa, Rayman. We're still in the tutorial. And there we go. Oh, what are we gonna do there? We're gonna attack that sucker. Yeah. Swipe forward to attack. Whoa. Now, how am I gonna get out of there? Let's jump. Yeah. Okay. Oh, now we want to capture all those guys. Oh boy, oh boy. Whoa, jump, before the thing comes down and squishes me. Hey, there's a teensy in there. Yay. So it's a really fun side scroller. You actually can play it pretty well with the remote, although I ended up buying, not for this specifically, but I ended up buying the controller because it's more fun to play these games with a controller. But the nice thing is you can play it with even with the remote that's built into the Apple TV. Really a lot of fun. I've always loved the Rayman games. And this is, what's amazing is the Apple TV has enough power to play something that originally I had to play on the Xbox, and it didn't even look as good as this. Whoa, whoa, hey, oh, yeah, oh, yeah. The other thing is Rayman has a lot of character.
Yeah, it does.
He's a character.
He does.
He's mad because I'm not very good at this.
Have you had to adjust the settings on your
I did
remote?
what you suggested, which is turn it to the less sensitive, yeah. That's all I can do for now. We seekers can only find 3 secrets on each level. He's going to rest. Come see me at the sacred tree when you're done. All right, enough of this. I think that, you know, one of the things that we were curious about, much like the iPad Pro, it's got a lot of potential, the Apple TV, and we're curious to see how people take advantage of this. This game was available on ship day. I think it's $4. Do you know off the top of your head?
$4.99 maybe.
$4.99. It's not expensive, and it does have a lot. It's a fun game, I really have to say. And it's fun to play it on your big screen TV, you know, with the whole family.
Next week, I'm going to show you how you can replace your laptop with your Apple TV.
Now that I'm interested in. No, you know, I think we covered this appropriately. You know, some people love it. Some people say that is awfully big, but it's definitely an interesting device. And I have to say, whatever I say, I applaud Apple because they're always innovating, and this is a very interesting, innovative device.
Yeah, and it's expensive, but you know, if you have the money,
you should see how much this hat costs.
Exactly, and I think it's a lot like the Apple Watch too. People are just like, what, you know, what would I use that for? I don't, and I love that too.
The voice is strong when it's on.
Oh, thank you for joining us, and tune in next week. We're every week around 1 p.m.
On Mondays.
Pacific. Yes, Pacific Standard Time. Usually we do make it on Monday.
4:30 Eastern Time, 21:30 UTC.
Yes, and we are all the places, including on your Apple TV. So you can watch us there, you can watch us on your Echo, you can watch us on your iPad Pro, your computer, in your hand, also called an iPhone, all the places.
You can't yet watch us on the watch.
Not yet.
But someday.
Someday.
Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time on iOS Today.